Today, we're going to help you figure out how to use variables with worker tasks sub-steps. There are 4 types of variables. Number 1, sub-step variables. These are defined at the sub-step level and can be passed to worker tasks. Number 2, step-wide variables. These variables are defined at the step level and can be used between the sub-steps of that particular step. Number 3, sequence-wide variables, which let you define a variable once and use it across your sequence model configuration. Number 4, output variables. These are variables generated by the output of a sub-step. Useful if you need to use or have access to the content generated by a previous sub-step. Starting with number 1, here's how you can define a sub-step variable and pass it to a worker task. Open an existing sequence model configuration or create a new one. Add a new sub-step using the instrument worker task or custom worker task sub-step template. We will go with custom worker task for our example. Type in the worker task you wish to execute during execution. Using the parameters editor, you can pass Boolean, number, list, dictionary variables to your worker task. When you create a new worker task related sub-step, the parameters section is pre-filled with a few sub-step variable examples. Here's how you pass a reference to an existing variable. Here's how you pass a sub-step number variable. Here's how you pass a sub-step string variable. Here's how you pass a sub-step Boolean variable. Make sure to only keep what you need. Let's pretend our worker tasks accepts 2 arguments, number X and list Y. Let's add those and remove what is not necessary. Publish or save your sequence model configuration to avoid losing your changes. For step-wide variables, here's how you can create them. Make sure your sequence model configuration has at least 1 step. Click on the step name and expand the step variables accordion. From there, you will be able to see a list of variables for that given step. If there are none, it will be empty. To add a new step variable, click on Create a New Variable. Select a type between string, Boolean, number, or object array. Enter a name for your variable. This value will be used later. Type in the value of your variable. Proceed by clicking on Create Variable once you're satisfied. Keep in mind, you can edit the new variable at any moment by clicking on Edit button or delete it by clicking on the Delete button. Let's go back to our previous worker task sub-step and let's pretend that it now takes in a new argument, number Z. Here's how you would pass this step variable to your worker task by referencing it. Make sure to publish or save your sequence model configuration to avoid losing your changes. Here's how you can create a sequence variable. Proceed to click on the Sequence Overview button at the top left corner or the Sequence Builder. If you don't see it, you might need to scroll up in the side panel. Expand the Sequence Variables accordion and click on Create a New Variable. From there, proceed to create your variables like explained in the previous step. Let's go back to our previous worker task sub-step, and let's pretend that it now takes in a new argument, Boolean AA. Here's how you can reference your new sequence variable. Make sure to publish or save your sequence model configuration to avoid losing your changes. And finally, here's how you can create and use an output variable. At the moment, 2 types of sub-step can store data to an output variable, instructions and worker tasks related sub-steps. For instruction sub-steps, you can find the name of the output variable here. You can also change its value by double-clicking on it and typing some variable name to be referenced later. For worker task sub-steps, you can type the output variable name in the output variable name input field and can reference it later. Again, let's pretend that the worker task from earlier accepts a new argument called task output. Here's how you can reference an output variable. The key difference to keep in mind between sequence variables, step variables, sub-step variables, and output variables is that the values assigned to the former are known in advance during the configuration of the sequence, while values of the output variables are set during the execution of the sequence. There you go. We hope this short video to variables and worker tasks sub-step was helpful.